If I want you guys to copy this down, factor the numerator, factor the denominator. Okay, now there's different ways to factor the numerator. Okay, I think you guys were taught two ways. You might have been taught to do a big X, or maybe you were taught to do this box thing. Okay, the box thing would look like this. You would put the negative 12 right there. You put the x squared right there, and then you would put the 4x right here. You would add these two squares to get the 4x. And so your goal is to figure out what your missing numbers are. X and x would give you the x squared. But what times what would give you the negative 12? Now it also has to add to give you 4. Okay, so you have to remember those two things. Now if you learn it with the big X, then you would just you're kind of doing the same thing. You put negative 12 up top, we put 4 on the bottom. What times what would give you negative 12, and then add to give you positive 4. And you guys would say 6 and negative 2. And that also would have worked right here, 6 and negative 2. And then you could have multiplied it out to test it. So we would write x plus 6, x minus 2, divided by, now the bottom doesn't have an x squared. So it's not like factoring a trinomial. You're just factoring using, what's it called? GCF, greatest common factor. What can you divide 3x by? And what can you divide 6 by? We can divide them both by 3. So we put a 3 right there, and we have x minus 2. I got x minus 2 just by dividing the 3x by 3 and dividing the 6 by 3. 6 divided by 3 is 2. 3x divided by 3 is x. When we factor, we're not changing the polynomial. Like it's still the same. I should be able to say 3x minus 6 equals 3 times x minus 2. Like they should be the same thing. If I just got rid of the 3, then I would be changing the number, and that would not be right. We're just trying to manipulate it. Now, do you guys know what to do next? Here, I'm going to give you guys a really simple problem that you guys could probably do in your head. I have 15, and we'll put 24 right here. I can factor 15, and I can factor 24. Now, there's a lot of different ways to factor. I'm just going to do it simply right now. I'm going to go 5 times 3 up top. That's 15, right? Right. And on the bottom, I'm going to go 8 times 3. What can I do? The 3's can be crossed out. Now, what does that mean when you cross them out? What is 3 divided by 3? It's 1. Okay, so that's why it's gone. It goes away because of that. You could have also divided the top and bottom by 3 to simplify this. Right? You guys understand? So, what factors can I cancel out in this guy? Yes, we can cross out x minus 2. And so you're left with x plus 6 over 3. Okay, now, can I simplify more?
Yes.
Ooh, you so want to. Very badly. I know you do. You guys want to go 6 divided by 3, right? Yeah. But you can't do that. Because 3 is dividing the whole thing. So if you wanted to divide out the 3, you would get x divided by 3 plus 2. Because x divided by 3 is just x divided by 3. And then 6 divided by 3 is 2.
So which is a simpler form?
Well, both of these answers are correct. I think I like that one the most right now. But you could also write this with the 1/3 in front. I like all of these, but this one I would like the most. All of these are correct. You give me any one of these, you're right. Now here at this point, it's worth noting what x cannot equal. Look at right here. What can x not equal in this denominator? We don't go to our answer and figure it out. We go to this. What can x not equal? Is it 2?
Yeah.
All you have to do is this. Some of you guys are able to do it in your head. You just look at it and start plugging in numbers, and you figure it out really fast. Others, you might want to do something like this. You go 3x minus 6 equals 0, because you don't want it to equal 0. So you want to find out this answer to say it can't be that answer. So if I add 6 to both sides, I get 3x equals 6. And then I divide both sides by 3, what do I get? 2. X cannot equal 2. That's our restriction.
That's the only
X cannot equal 2. That's correct. That's the only restriction right there. And that also tells you the domain. The domain is all real numbers except for number 2.